Good afternoon and welcome along to the 11th and final MotoGP team presentation of 2024. That's right, a month of presentations, including 2 pre-season tests, are going to be done and dusted in around an hour and a half's time, meaning that then, once the Prima Pramac Racing boys have unveiled their brand new 2024 machines, all eyes can then be fully focused on round 1 of 2024, which kicks off next weekend. This time next week, I'll be packing my suitcase and flying to Qatar, ready to bring you all of the action. But before that, we've got a bumper show in store for you. I think we've saved the best till last. In the office here, we've been calling it Goat Wednesday because we have got some big interviews coming with you throughout the course of the next hour and a half. Giacomo Agostini joining us later on. Suzi Perry of TNT Sports is going to be previewing the seasons ahead for Jorge Martin and Franco Morbidelli. Our man on the ground, Liam Hodgins, is hoping to get a word with another multiple world champion as well. A special event for Prima Pramac Racing because those guys are out in Bahrain, which of course is hosting the opening round of Formula 1 this weekend. They've got a link there with Stefano Domenicali, the F1 CEO. Paolo Campanotti, the Pramac boss, does anyway. But we said a month of team presentations. This is how we got here. Let's just recap very quickly how things started on that Saturday, the 20th of January, when Marc Marquez and Alex Marquez walked out. What a buzz it was in Riccione on that day. And then from then on in, it's been pretty frantic. This is the biggest gap that we've had. Ducati, VR46, Trackhouse, Gas, Yamaha, KTM, Repsol Honda, LCR Honda, Aprilia. That's 10 done. And now time for our 11th and final team to pull the covers off their 2024 machines. Some bikes have changed drastically. Some have stayed the same. What are we going to see today? Early rumours are it's worth staying with us because the Prima Pramac Racing boys are going to look pretty different from 2023 to 2024. So that is definitely worth staying with us and looking out for. As I say, the opening round of the year, not too far away now. Next weekend, in 9 days' time, on Friday, the 8th of... is it the 8th? It is, the 8th of March. Trying to get my dates right there. We'll see practice for the very first time for Moto3, Moto2 and MotoGP. It's not too late to get your tickets. It might be quite pricey to get flights across to Qatar now if you're not in that region. So if not, plenty of deals out there, including for round 2, 10% off for the Portuguese Grand Prix tickets at Portimao. So if you're in Europe and you fancy a little bit of early summer sunshine, then have a look at tickets for Portimao, where there is due to be a bumper atmosphere as ever as everyone cheers on home hero Miguel Oliveira. Right, let's focus in then on this, our final team presentation of the season. And I think we can head across live very shortly to Liam Hodgins, our man on the ground. Before that, though, as ever, we want you guys to get involved in the chats, however you are watching us, whether it be Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think I've mentioned them all. TikTok as well, of course. In the chat, just put A or B, yes or no. Jorge Martin, of course, so close to winning that first ever Premier Class World Championship last year, beaten at the final race of the year by Pecco Bagnaia. Can he go one better? Will the Spaniard be world champion this time around? I want to know your thoughts. Let us know, yes or no. We'll give you the answers. Excited to see what you guys think, especially now that pre-season is done in a few moments' time. But before that, let's head across to the Bahrain International Circuit, where our man Liam Hodgins is there. A new venue for all of us. Of course, MotoGP, when we head to the Middle East, goes to Qatar, which is not too far away. But, Liam, what are things like in Bahrain? I imagine this, of course, day 1 of the Formula 1 season, with all of the press activities happening today. There's quite the buzz there.
Jack, I cannot tell you enough about what the buzz is like here at the Bahrain International Circuit. As you said, it's the first day of Formula 1 of 2024, and there's a big buzz around about the paddock. Everyone's smiling, there's a lot of people chatting, and we're really just thankful to be here really ahead of the Pramac Ducati launch, which I must admit I am really looking forward to. They've got something big happening today. You're going to have to stick around and watch out for it because it's going to be brilliant. We might see even a couple of bikes on track. We might see even what we could be seeing a future world champion in the hands of Jorge Martin, or maybe even Franco Morbidelli coming into fruition in 2024. And talking of world champions, I have one with me right now. five-time 500cc world champion, Mick Doohan. Mick, thank you so much for joining us. What brings you to Bahrain?
The Formula One. So really probably the same as you. And here, of course, for the what's going to happen out here in a short while.
Yes, we're really looking forward to seeing what happens here this weekend as well. And of course, for MotoGP in 2024. You obviously keep up very well to date with MotoGP. What do you think of it right now as in terms of competitors, in terms of where the technology is going?
Technology is one thing. I'm not sure whether I'm a big fan of all the aero. It'd be nice to see some of that removed. It's got a little bit too technical, I think. Bring the riders back into the play. I think it'd be a little bit better. But saying that, generally the good riders end up on top anyway. But you know, at the moment, with all the wings and the other gadgetry that's on it, it's making life a little bit more difficult for some of the manufacturers, I guess. But beyond that, I'm looking forward to the season getting underway and seeing what's going to happen. But you know, some good young blood in there and some old heads, which is going to make for a good season.
You're absolutely right. It's going to be a cracking season this year. Qatar next weekend. What do you expect from this season? You're here. I've seen you speak to Jorge Martin and Franco Morbidelli. What do you expect from them?
Look, well, you know, Jorge last year was, you know, very, very close to winning the championship. So, you know, I would imagine it's going to be much the same again. You know, the Honda, I'm not sure. I didn't really take note of what was going on in the testing, but the Ducati was strong. There's numerous Ducatis on the grid, so I'd imagine Jorge is going to be one at the front, as is Bagnaia, and you know, you can't discard Marc Marquez as well. He's going to be strong, no doubt. But likewise, there's a whole bunch of young guys coming through as well. Acosta, you know, it could be a bit of a wild card in there, just depending on what the gas is like. But really, it's early days. And as I say, I didn't really sort of see much of the testing. I seen some results, but I didn't see, you know, it's also testing. It's hard to get your head around what's really going on. And, you know, after the first 3 or 4 races, generally you'll get a bit more of an idea of what's what the lay of the land is. But, you know, looking forward to being able to watch it again and then hopefully attend 1 or 2 of the races this year.
It'd be great to see some of them again, I must admit. Now, we are here to see the Pramac Ducati guys launch. Franco Morbidelli, Jorge Martin. Jorge Martin pushed Pecco Bagnaia so hard to the last year's World Championship. Would he become the first rider in the MotoGP era to win on a satellite Ducati? How big is that feat for Jorge to do something like this against the factory guys?
Well, yeah, we've seen last year. It was, for, you know, some of it was outside of his control with the tyre in Australia, I think. But then he made a couple of mistakes as well. But likewise, Bagnaia sort of got taken out as well. Was out for some injury, and then. But look, you're right. It's a factory bike though, so that's so he's competing against another factory bike. So yes, it's a satellite team, but it's a factory bike. So I think everyone's aware of that. He's aware that he's competing on the same equipment, and it would be great for Pramac to be able to secure the championship. Although Ducati mightn't like that, the supported team as such, being their junior team almost beating the senior team. But I mean, it's good that the playing field's that equal that he could win on the Pramac Ducati, be it a satellite team, whatever you want to call it. But you know, that's one of the teams that have the same machinery as a factory team.
It'll be certainly interesting. And one just quick one: what do you think Jorge Martin needs to do to become a world champion like yourself?
Just win races, you know, and unfortunately, there's no secret ingredient other than being consistent and winning races. And you know, you win enough races, remain consistent enough, and the championship takes care of itself. You know, if you can't win, you take the next best position, so you don't throw it down the road. So, and you know, last year, one of the first years where there was some big gaps in there, and it kept a lot of people in play, but. You know, I think if he can just maintain some momentum, some consistency, then and just hopefully string it together, then the championships is going to be his. But the same 20, 30 years ago was the same thing. You don't know what anybody else is up to on the off season. You know, who's going to be your main competitor come the start of the season. So that's why I say the first few races, the first 3 or 4 races, you get a bit of an understanding who's going to be the consistent player out there and who you're really racing. Sort of testing at the moment, and although the testing's very few days in comparison to years gone by, but it's really hard to get a flavour of what's going to be the play for the year. So let's wait and see.
Mick, really appreciate your company. Best of luck for, well, enjoying the weekend and seeing what your son Jack does in the future.
Well, hopefully he'll end up here as well at some point in time. But, you know, the Bahrain F1, I wouldn't miss it. It's one of my favourites. So great to be back here.
Enjoy the weekend, Mick.
Thank you. Cheers.
Jack, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Liam. We did say it was Goat Wednesday, and for a reason as well. 5-time world champion Mick Doohan, 15-time world champion Giacomo Agostini joining us later on as well. That's not bad, that, is it? And simple equation for Jorge Martin, according to the Australian. If, like the 46% of you, think that he'll be world champion this year, how's he going to do it? Win races. It's easy. That's all you need to do to be MotoGP world champion. Go out there and win a few races. Straight talking Australian, as ever. Characteristically to the point, but great to get the thoughts of Mick ahead of what is going to be a spectacular 2024. Him, like everyone else, mentioning, 5 or 6 names I think he rattled off in terms of who he thinks might be in the mix this year. It is so difficult to predict. And as Liam said as well, good luck to Jack Doohan, of course, the son of Mick, who I don't think this weekend, but in the coming weekends, we'll be getting his Formula 2 campaign underway. Fingers crossed we see him on the Formula 1 grid in the very near future. So we can see him flying the flag for MotoGP. I know he's good friends with the likes of Jorge Martin, Yuma Sasaki as well. Often seen wearing his merchandise in and around the paddock. There we go then. That live poll updating as we go along. Pretty evenly split. 45% of you thinking that Jorge Martin will be world champion this year. 55% thinking that it's going to be too much of a challenge for him this year. But it's good to see that you guys at home are as struggling to make predictions as I am, and I imagine our next guest is as well. The voice of MotoGP in the UK, and has been for many a year now, our very own Suzi Perry of TNT Sports. Suzi, great to have you with us. How are you? You look like you've wintered well. I'm sure excited for next weekend.
You make me sound like I've hibernated in a box of hay, which I have pretty much, really. Thank you very much. It's lovely to be here. What an exciting day. Lovely to see Mick Doohan. Always great to hear his wisdom. Obviously, you know, he's got those 5 titles. He's got all the experience, all the knowledge, and he's so much calmer now that he's older. And he said it all, really, didn't he, in that opening chat? I think maybe, Jack, one of the things that he didn't say was the fact that that new Ducati, clearly in the tests, the one thing that you can take from the test is that it has taken a step forward from last year, which often a new bike, a few races to bed in. And it's frightening that this bike is even better, I think, than last year. That's what I took from the tests. I think it's very difficult to work out exactly what they're doing and who's sandbagging and who's playing for a fast lap. But I do think it's interesting that Ducati has taken a step forward, and that'll be good for Franco Morbidelli, won't it? Because he's not going to have any testing before the season starts. And I guess in a way that's the big story at Pramac so far, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Before we speak about Jorge Martin and ask the question, can he go one better this year? Your heart has to go out for Franco Morbidelli. In case you haven't been keeping in touch with the news over the pre-season, just before they went to Sepang around 3 weeks ago now, Franco and the VR46 Academy guys were in Portimao, had a big crash, a big knock to the head, and as a result hasn't done any pre-season testing, which, as you well know, Suzi, is difficult if you're staying on the same bike from last year. Never mind moving to a brand new manufacturer.
He's got such a big mountain to climb. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that are frustrated about Franco Morbidelli because he hasn't reached his potential, and he came into MotoGP with a lot of potential. We saw glimmers of it, you know, in the first season, and things haven't gone his way. And I think everybody loves Franco, and everybody knows that he's got this talent within him, and they hoped it would be unleashed this year. Maybe it will, but it's not the best of starts for him to have to jump on this Ducati against that frame that he has of those brilliant riders that have had this time to test that bike. It's going to be so difficult for him, I think.
And of course, we know with Ducati as well that there's no secrets there. They all share the same data. They're all able to look at what everyone else is doing. So hopefully that is an opportunity for Frankie to try and learn a little bit quicker than he may well have done otherwise. Jorge Martin, let's touch on the Spaniard then. I remember you had the great sit-down chat with them just before the Sunday in Qatar. And I struggle to find the words sometimes to describe Jorge Martin. I feel like the best way to describe him is that he's a determined so-and-so. He really has the bit between his teeth every weekend. And we could tell that when you had that chat with him in Qatar. And he looks to be the same again this year as well. You're a brave man or woman to rule him out, especially in those short format sprints.
Oh, what did he win? 9 sprints last year, 4 main races, I think. Exceptional. And Pramac were exceptional last year in the way that they put that team together and they move forward. And then when the teams took over the factory team, which was incredible, that was absolutely superb with the might of Johan Zarco and of course with Jorge Martin, who was exceptional. I think, Mick touched on Jorge made a couple of higher choice errors last year. Possibly you could championship, it's a bit swings and routes. But yeah, they're going to obviously at it again. And I would him as a showman. He's so much, I think, the opposite of Pecco Bagnaia, who is a brilliant rider. Both of them are. Both of them give 100% on the same capacity, but their personalities are very, very different. You've almost got this sort of poet, quiet, gentle, kind person in Pecco Bagnaia, and that's really what he is like in real life. He gives you the time. He's not full of himself. He's not walking around with his chest out. He's very calm and he's very quiet. Whereas Jorge, he's all singing, all dancing, grabbing the headlines. He marches around and he is a showman, and it's brilliant to see that. And I love to see the two differences in their personalities. Of course, they were teammates, just over a decade ago, and they used to get on really well, but now they're fighting for the same championship. And I think obviously the relationship isn't the same as it used to be. And I wonder, Jack, what it would be like next year if he moved up to the factory team. It would be fascinating to see that dynamic. I'm jumping ahead a little bit there because the news broke this morning also about the possibility of who's going to come into that seat next season. Everybody's contract finishes at the end of this year, bar 3 riders. So there's a lot of riders to talk about as the season and the movement, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know me. I love the gossip. I love the drama. Already,
you love a bit of Fermin Aldeguer coming up next year to Pramac.
Exactly. Already, we've got El Periodico in Spain. Now, Motorsport reporting that Fermin is signed to move up to Pramac Ducati in 2025. We've not turned a wheel in 2024. We're already talking 25. But that rumour, I think there's going to be a lot of truth to it because Jorge has said that I want to be on a factory bike next year. And I think even Paolo Campanotti and Gino Borsoi have admitted that whatever happens this year, it's going to be our last together because Jorge is deserving of being a full factory rider wherever that may be.
Yeah, he wants to be in a factory team, doesn't he? Obviously, he's got the factory bike this year, as has Morbidelli, as we mentioned earlier. They've got those parts, but to be in the factory team is a dream, I think, for every single rider. They always say that. I mean, look at Luca Marini going to Honda for that specific reason. He wants to be in the factory team, and he felt that he was way down the pecking order so he's made that move, and time will tell whether that's been a genius or not. Couldn't really tell too much in testing with Honda, I don't think. But Jorge Martin, it's a difficult position. They've got an embarrassment of riches, haven't they, in Ducati, because we haven't seen the bestie of Bastianini either, really, with his injury last year. So I think the pressure is very much on Enea for this season to see what he can do. But I think there'll be a lot of other teams looking at Jorge Martin, and I guess Jorge, he's got to repeat exactly what he did, win, as Mick said, but also not get in. I mean, that is the key. It sounds like a stupid thing to say, but it can change everybody's season, and it's a fine line because they can't even think about that because you can't ride by thinking about that. But from the outside, it is a big part of MotoGP with the amount of races that they're doing this year and with the sprint races on top of that. We saw how it just destroyed Bastianini's whole season last year being injured and other riders as well throughout the paddock. that for me is a key factor.
Yeah, without a doubt. Fingers crossed. Jorge has a successful season. You would imagine the easiest way to stay out of trouble is being at the front, which I'm sure is going to be his plans. Suzi, thank you very much for joining us. TNT, you're going to be, live a week on Friday for the opening practice sessions?
A week, yes. A week on Friday. We'll be live all day across the week, across the whole weekend. And can I just say that the Jake Dixon Diaries will be airing next week, and they are on the Discovery app now as we speak. And I've watched it, and it's a brilliant watch. You really see another side of what riders go through. So if you do get a chance, just watch the Jake Dixon Diaries. Thanks, Jack.
Not a problem. It's on my list to watch on the flight to Qatar. I'm looking forward to it. Suzi, thank you. Looking forward to catching up in a week's time.
Absolutely. Looking forward to a great season ahead. And I can't wait for this launch either, because I may or may not have seen a sneaky picture, and it's a gorgeous bike.
Yeah, me too. I'm not giving anything away, but it's worth tuning in for. Thank you very much to Suzi, as ever. Great to get her thoughts. And as she said, TNT Sports will be bringing you all of the MotoGP, Moto2 and Moto3 antics a week on Friday. Make sure you tune in to the Qatar GP, of course, if you're in the UK and Ireland. MotoGP Authentics, once again, will be back this year, giving you the opportunity to get the very best in MotoGP memorabilia, whether it be race suits, knee sliders, even some helmets I've heard throughout the year as well from your favourite MotoGP riders, and the opportunity to be a part of Spanish Grand Prix history. Get your name on the checkered flag that will be waved in Jerez at the Spanish Grand Prix later on this year. That's pretty cool. So make sure you have a look at MotoGP Authentics. Put it into Google, have a look. Lots of options there. Birthdays, honeymoons, anniversaries, early Christmas presents. There's plenty coming up, plenty of reason to go and have a look at MotoGP Authentics. So what are we? About 8 minutes away then from the launch getting underway out in Bahrain. Of course, the host of the opening round of Formula One, this weekend. But in terms of two-wheel action, plenty going on for us this week as well. All focus is on the round one coming up next weekend. But at the moment, the Moto2 and Moto3 class at the Circuito de Jerez Ángel Nieto in the south of Spain, a 3-day test for them, and you can follow live timing for that on MotoGP.com. Plus, at the end of the day, we'll be bringing you interviews from the top 3 in both categories. Looks as though it's been a busy day as well. A couple of the guys were doing a private test in Portimao just to get ready. And it looked as though in Moto2, Manu Gonzalez going really well at the moment. And from what I saw early on today, Jose Antonio Rueda in the Moto3 class looks to be setting the pace as well. So looks set to be a pretty interesting year in both Moto2 and Moto3. Lots of people tuning in as ever, including Stumpy Nation. Hello, Jack and everybody. So psyched for the start of the season. Once again, tuning in from Newport, Rhode Island. Thank you very much, Stumpy, for getting in touch with us and for tuning in. What else have we got? Luke Miller, great to see Mick Doohan, absolute legend. Yeah, told you, it's Goat Wednesday. 20, can you believe it? 20 World Championships between Mick Doohan, Giacomo Agostini and myself as well. The three of us bringing 20 World Championships to the table today. You're welcome. We're only bringing the best. Some would say we've saved the best till last, certainly in terms of World Championships anyway. Mohammed Fakri has been getting in touch. Welcome to Franco Morbidelli to the Pramac boys. Yes, of course, this is the first time that we'll see Frankie, full stop actually, walking out in Pramac Racing leathers after not being able to attend both the Qatar and Sepang tests. Matt, the mad botanist, well, it wouldn't be a team presentation without Matt getting in touch. Hello, Jack, MotoGP and friends. The last team presentation, the final pre-season testing. We're almost there. Qatar is coming. Let's get it. Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it, Matt. Can't wait to get the season underway. And the final one, Frankie, a good guy. Hope he can find his mojo back this year. That coming from MOF1. Go along with that one. As Suzi said, Frankie, one of the nicest characters in the paddock. Really, really pleasant guy to sit and have a coffee with. So fingers crossed. I would like to see him be successful this year, and hopefully he can get his mojo back and we can see the Franco Morbidelli that we saw in 2019 and in 2020. Easy to forget that 4 years ago, he was runner-up in the MotoGP World Championship, which is no mean feat. So fingers crossed we can see Frankie back to his best this year. And quickly, I can tease ahead before we go to the team presentation. This might be our 11th and last one, but We'll be with you on Friday. We'll be live once again across all of MotoGP's social media channels for our final show, the big 2024 preview. We will be talking and dissecting and analysing in depth all 22 riders on the grid with Matt Burt, MotoGP's commentator, and 5-time world champion Jorge Lorenzo. So do join us 2 o'clock Central European time on Friday for the big MotoGP preview. If you can't watch it live then of course you'll be able to watch it on catch up over the weekend. There is going to be nothing better to get you fully prepared and ready for MotoGP in 2024. As we see live images from Bahrain on the left there, Gino Borsoi, of course, team manager for the Prima Pramac Racing squad, and what a job he did last year as well. His very first year in MotoGP, having stepped up from the Aspar squad, where of course he successfully won Moto3 World Championships with the likes of Ethan Guevara in 2022, and he was able to manage and pilot the Prima Pramac Racing squad towards winning the team's World Championship, becoming the first independent team ever to do so. Gigi Dall'Igna, of course, a very, very noticeable figure to the right of him. And we did see for a second Fonzi Nieto. There he is, Fonzi Nieto, just to the left of shots there, who is the sporting director for the Prima Pramac Racing squad, also acts as a bit of a rider coach as well. See if a couple of you guys getting in touch as well. Sitch 58, definitely going to be a rocking season. The best grid since 2015. Yeah, there's certainly plenty of firepower on the grids this year. That is without doubt. Can't wait for Frankie to prove everyone wrong this year. This comes from Lucian21. Yeah, fingers crossed we can see Frankie battling at the front. Of course, it's going to be a very, very difficult start to the season, though, and I'm sure when we speak to him live later on in the show, he will admit that as well. Not having any pre-season testing whatsoever, apart from that one day in Valencia where it was pretty windy, it was pretty cold, conditions weren't ideal. He hasn't really been able to get the most and get fully settled and comfortable on that Pramac racing machine. Berfin has been getting in touch from Turkey. Thank you, Berfin, for joining us for this one. As we await for things to get underway here in Bahrain. Just seeing if there's any famous faces that we can notice at the moment. Sakhir, he's replying to our poll. He doesn't think that Jorge Martin will be world champion this year, and good reasoning as well. Too many top guys can win this year. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a tough year for Pecco too. All in all, it's going to be a cracking season. Well, Sakhir, I mean, you can't say no, Jorge Martin's not going to win it, and that it's going to be a tough season for Pecco Bagnaia, but then not tell us who you think's going to win it. I mean, I can sit here and tell you that lots of people are going to win this year, but you've got to put your money where your mouth is, Sakhir. Who's going to be world champion? Come on, tell us in the comments. As we get ready then, I think, for the Prima Pramac Racing squad to officially kick off their 2024 campaign. There's Paolo Campanotti, just in the centre of shot there with the blue jacket and white shirt on. He's a big character, is Paolo. Very, very much liked within the MotoGP paddock. And of course, this taking place in the Formula One paddock because of his connections, his close relationship with Stefano Domenicali, who is the Formula One CEO. Actually, if I remember rightly, Stefano was there at the opening round of MotoGP last year at Portimao as a part of a guest with Campanotti's Pramac squad. And for a good 3 years now, I think it's been, maybe 4 years, we've seen on the rear tail unit of the Prima Pramac Racing machines that there's been the F1 sticker there. It's a long-standing relationship now between the squad and Formula One. As we wait to get a look at both Franco Morbidelli and Jorge Martin in their new levers for the first time. They're keeping them well hidden though. I have seen the levers and they're keeping it well hidden for good reason, because they are different. I'm saying too much anyway. I'm going to get told off here. I'm giving the game away already, but I'm just telling you, stay with us. This is worth seeing. The Prima Pramac Racing squad is slightly different to what we've been used to from 2023. So don't go anywhere as we get ready for things to officially kick off out there in Bahrain. As we see plenty of TV crews, journalists and the rest getting ready to get their interviews in place after the event. And as I said, MotoGP coming up next week. Of course, we did mention Friday, the opening day of action, with Moto3 kicking us off as ever before then Moto2 and MotoGP. But Thursday is a day that you want to be tuning in for as well, the first media day of the season, a couple of press conferences. Of course, we're then going to have the team photos, the class photos, the traditional photographs on the start-finish straight where we get the riders from all of the classes together to pose ahead of the new season. It's always exciting and it's always interesting to hear the thoughts of everybody on the eve of a new campaign. Everybody starting on zero. Everybody has the dream when they step into the paddock that they can be world champion this coming campaign. It's always great to hear that energy and that buzz and that excitement, and it will be interesting to hear from plenty of the MotoGP riders as well. Of course, the MotoGP podcast will be back for another year as well. The Gear Up show getting underway at, I believe, the earlier time this year of 3 o'clock local time in Qatar, if I'm right, and then that's going to follow suit wherever we go, whether it be in Europe or in the UK as well, so you can adjust your times for that. The press conference an hour after that. That will be starting an hour earlier than what has been the case over the past couple of years. 4 o'clock local time compared to 5 o'clock local time. Again, I'm going to get in trouble. I don't think I'm supposed to tell you who's in the press conferences, but we're a little bit delayed. I'm going to tell you anyway. See some highlights from Prima Pramac Racing. In fact, no, this is it. This is the start of the 2024 Prima Pramac Racing presentation live from Bahrain. So let's head across live.
Us for what promises to be a very special evening. We're going to reveal something very exciting and you guys are all going to get the first look tonight. So to kick things off, I'd like to welcome our special guests. Please give a warm welcome to Sheikh Salman bin Isa Al Khalifa, the Chief Executive of the Bahrain International Circuit. Hello. Please also welcome Paolo Campinotti, the Pramac CEO and Prima Pramac Racing Team Principal. And please also welcome George Otatikal, Prima Assicurazioni co-founder and CEO. Please give a warm welcome to our guests, everyone. Thank you. Thank you all so much for joining us here this evening. I'm very excited to be here with you. Few questions for you all before we get to the big reveal, shall we say. Let's start with you, Paolo. Now, of course, very special evening here. Last year, you were the first independent team to win the team championship. This year, you're the first MotoGP team to present a bike in the F1 paddock. How does it feel?
I feel fantastic, but first of all, I want to thank His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, that to host you here, the CEO of the circuit that is making this event happen, and Stefano Domenicali, CEO of Formula One, that has been always supporting us. So I mean, I'm very happy to be here to celebrate our fantastic season. For us, it's really amazing, and here for the 20th anniversary of this race, it's even a bigger pleasure for us, especially for me because I'm a consul of Bahrain in Italy, so this is for me my second country, and I'm really happy to be here and to participate to this bike unveil here. And fortunately, I'm sure that for 2024 it will be a great season, and I wish that this is good luck for the start of the season. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, Paolo just mentioned 20th anniversary for the Bahrain International Circuit. Incredible amount of time. How special does that feel?
Obviously, it's very special. And first of all, welcome to everyone. Thank you for coming. For us, it's really special, obviously, to have a bike unveil in the grid, not only any bike, but the world champions to be with us in Bahrain. And we believe that motorsports brings people together, and to have a motorbike, a MotoGP unveil on the eve of the Grand Prix in the paddock, I think this is a special moment for us. I'm very honored, and we wish you luck in the championship as well.
Such a special moment for us all to be a part of. George, going to bring you in here now. Everyone very kindly shifting along. George, Prima is one of the most successful insurtech companies at a global level, and this year, third season as title sponsor of the Prima Pramac team. What is that like? Why did you decide to sponsor a MotoGP team?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for hosting this event here. First of all, we are, as you said, one of the leading players in motor insurance. So for us, being in motorsports is kind of natural. It has very strong affinity with what we do with our customers. And of course, having chosen the Pramac as a partner for being in this sport brings a lot of pride and a lot of joy because of the success, because it has been 2 years with growing success, with growing also empathy between the team and our company. And so we are at high spirits. There is a huge engagement for our customers, for our team, for our agents, and we are really looking forward for this season to happen, because we have high expectations.
Well, we can't wait to see how the season unfolds, but now it is time for us to get our first look at the bikes. We're going to step aside and make way for their arrival. Get ready.
Thank you. Rita, qua va bene? Qua sto bene? Vado sulla moto?
Wow, these look very, very impressive. Absolutely incredible. I am going to ask both of you to hop off of them though and come and join me. And we're also going to welcome our special guests, Gigi Dall'Igna, the General Manager of Ducati, and also, oh, hello, you can take the microphone, sir. And also, please welcome Gino Borsoi, the Team Manager of Prima Pramac team. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Looks absolutely amazing. Very, very excited to be the first to see them as well. Absolutely stunning. We're going to start with you, Gigi. Now, expectations of the new season ahead. Obviously, everyone is looking forward to it. We've heard the others mentioning it as well. How are you feeling? What are your expectations, especially in terms of the Ducati bikes?
You know, for sure, the expectation is to try to win as much races as possible. And to become the champion at the end of the year. You know, the tests show us that we make an improvement in terms of performance of the bike, and also the rider have the speed to compete at a really high level. And so, you know, we will see what happens in 1 week.
We will indeed. And we're going to move on to you now, Gino. In 2023, we saw your team winning the Team World Championship and the battle for the Rider World Championship, going to that last race in Valencia. What are your expectations for 2024?
Well, as you said before, we were able to get an incredible season 2023, but we are ready also this season to try to do the same. So our riders are strong. We did an incredible first part of the test. Now we are ready. We just try to do the same, but with a different final, because we were strong last race. We lost the championship, but this season we could do and try again.
This season, try again. Now we also have with us our riders who made quite the entrance there. We have Franco Morbidelli and Jorge Martin. Franco, we're going to come to you first. Are you excited to start the season in the new Prima Pramac colours?
Yes, I am. It's a great and a wonderful opportunity for me, coming after a couple of years of difficulty. So it's really nice for me to jump on the best bike and have the chance to experience the riding of this wonderful machine, and trying to make some good results and having a great speed throughout the whole season. I come from a little bit of an injury. So for sure, it'll take time. It'll take a little bit of time, especially in the beginning. But I'm planning on catching up as fast as possible.
Indeed. And George, what about you? How do you feel about getting on the bike in these new Prima Pramac colours, new livery? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think it's a big change for us. I've been on the team for 3 years already, and always we have been white. So now it's a big change. I think it's much better, much more aggressive, and hopefully we are also aggressive on the track. Last season, as you know, we finished second. I finished second in the championship, winning the team's title. So hopefully we can improve that result and take the win.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We absolutely cannot wait to see how you go this season. Looks fantastic. Hopefully results are fantastic too. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you everyone for being here this evening, and we count down to the first race.
So there we go then. I did promise you it was going to be different, and it definitely is different. They're now black and purple Prima Pramac Racing Squad ready to go for 2024. I was lucky enough to see it last weekend, was it? Yeah, last weekend in Qatar, where we were doing some filming ahead of the new season, and it looked pretty spectacular there. But I have to say, now under the lights, out in the open, rather than being inside our little TV studio, it looks pretty impressive. The levers as well. I'm a big fan, especially Jorge Martin's new helmet, and Franco Morbidelli. I don't know if you got a good look at that as well. You may well be able to see some photos on social media, but the pair of them have got some lovely helmet designs. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, of the 11 bikes out there, I think that might be my favourite. But what do you guys think? Nobody cares what I think. I want to know what you think. Do you like the new livery? Yes or no? Put it in the comments. Put it in the chat. A for yes, B for no. we'll let you know the results very soon indeed. I've got a sneaky feeling that that is going to be a popular one. We like change. A lot of you I've seen commenting saying that you like bikes to be different from year to year, and that is definitely different. A great presentation, great to be able to hear from all of the key men, including Jorge Martin and Franco Morbidelli, and we're going to hear from them live very soon indeed. Liam Hodgins, as you can see, waiting there to chat to them. Before that though, Liam, we said it was going to be different, and it definitely is. What do you make of that new bike?
Oh, different is a bit of an understatement there, Jack. I must admit, under the floodlights here in Bahrain, which there will be next week in Qatar, the bikes actually look fantastic. They look aggressive, they look fast. I think this means that Prima Pramac mean a lot of business this year to try and take, well, the riders over my shoulder, especially the one right over my shoulder, Jorge Martin, to potentially the World Championship in 2024. Jack, I don't know about you, but I think they look absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they do look fantastic, and I agree with you. Look fast as well, but looking fast and being fast is another thing. We've seen from pre-season. They don't look slow, though, which is a good thing, of course. A lot of mentions to the fact that we're there in the Formula One paddock. Not often that we see MotoGP and Formula One come together like this. I've been lucky at a couple of events where there's been some Formula One team personnel there and they've heard MotoGP bikes out on track. And proud to say that we're a little bit louder, a little bit more impressive than those guys are. How well received has it been within the paddock so far?
Yes, it's been received incredibly well in the paddock so far, I must admit, Jack. As you just saw, I was looking over my shoulder there because I was just taking in, once again, like, they're awe-inspiring, the bikes. And there's such a massive turnout here on the front straight. I've seen Mick Doohan once again. I've seen his son Jack, who is hoping to be in Formula One as of next year. I've seen Jean Alesi, a Formula One Grand Prix winner, Gerhard Berger as well, legends of the sport in terms of Formula One. And there's a lot of people down here to really look at the bikes. People from Formula One, people from MotoGP. It's a big buzz around this place, and it really does feel like that maybe Formula One and MotoGP are just collaborating a little bit more now, and really they started to embrace MotoGP. The Formula One paddock are embracing MotoGP on a much higher level. It's absolutely fantastic.
And I know that you're obviously a big fan of the four wheels as well as two, of course. Just before we let you go, I mean, no surprise to see such a passion for our sport there at the moment, with the likes of Lando Norris, who of course has signed on Ivan Ortola, the Moto3 star, to be a part of his sort of junior athlete squad at the moment. But even Lando himself, a huge fan of Valentino Rossi, growing up, as was Alex Albon. For a lot of the riders on the Formula One grids, their passion for motorsport started with two wheels.
It did indeed. We've seen Lando Norris at a number of events over the years, and I was actually hoping to see him on the grid, but you know it's media day in Formula One right now, so they're probably a little bit busy. But yeah, a lot of the Formula One drivers, they grew up watching their hero, Valentino Rossi. That's the reason why some of them started out, was because of him. And he's such an icon of the sport, but we've got so many icons coming through the sport in MotoGP. Pecco Bagnaia, Pedro Acosta in the future, Jorge Martin, Franco Morbidelli. The list goes on and on and on, and it's going to be great to see people in the future, 20 years time, in Formula One, who said that Jorge Martin, Franco Morbidelli, Pecco Bagnaia, these guys were all their hero growing up.
Liam, great as ever to chat with you. I can see that Jorge Martin over your shoulder there is probably going to be with you very soon indeed. So I'll let you get ready to chat to the runner-up last year, and we'll be with you very soon indeed. Thanks to Liam for a little chit-chat there before he gets ready to speak to the key men, a part of the Prima Pramac Racing squad, who, of course, easy to forget, although the headline last year was coming so close to that Riders' World Championship, did become the first independent squad to win the Teams World Championship, stopping the might of the Ducati Lenovo team. Can they do that again this year? I'm sure that is one of Gino Borsoi's very big targets. So, coming up, of course, the MotoGP World Championship kicks into life this time next week, or in 8 days' time, for the opening media day of the season. And if you haven't already, we've told you a few times on the show, this is going to be my last opportunity to do so. The MotoGP app, the brand new MotoGP app, I should say, and the MotoGP website are the places that you need to be keeping your eye on. Of course, set notifications, enable notifications on the MotoGP apps. We'll send you out alerts when races are about to get underway, all the key breaking news stories, results at the end of every session. It is not to be missed if you want to stay fully up to date with everything that's happening across MotoGP in 2024. Right, what did you guys think then? 71% of you, big fans of the new Prima Pramac Racing livery. 29% not liking it. I mean, come on, guys. The 29%, what more can they do? I'm a big fan. I'm surprised at that. I thought that we might get into the 90-95% mark. For those guys, for whatever reason, if you don't like it, then tell us why. We can pass the notes on for next year to see if they can tweak it to your preference. But for me, it's a big win. 71% of you agreeing as well. And I'm sure when we get to Qatar and we see them under lights, it may well... That one there? No, other side. That one there might just move up in the opposite direction up towards 90%. I'm pretty confident of that. It does look good, I promise you guys. So we'll be hearing from Jorge Martin and Franco Morbidelli very soon indeed. Morbidelli, an interesting one. Definitely wanting to hear his thoughts. Of course, we've not had, although they did say it should happen, official confirmation that he is going to be riding in Qatar. We're still waiting for him to get clearance from the doctors after that heavy crash that he had whilst training at Portimao around a month or so ago. Lucky enough to chat with him in Qatar around a week or so ago, and was great to see that he was on good form, was laughing, was joking, and was detailing what happened. A strange crash on his outlap, he said. So difficult to understand what happened there, and of course, due to the severity of the crash, can't remember too much. And in interviews with us, with the other TV broadcasters on site there, wanted straight away to put his thanks and put his gratitude out there to both Marc Marquez and Alex Marquez, who, whilst on track, stopped, put the bikes down and went to help Frankie as soon as they saw him in a little bit of bother out there. And he was very quick to go and thank them and really say that they were a huge help in making sure that it wasn't as serious as what it could have been. And of course, that just proving what a big family that the MotoGP paddock is. But interesting to hear how he's going to get on. Of course, interesting to see that green number 21 now on a Ducati, the GP24, as has been mentioned, looks like being the bike to be on in the upcoming World Championship. We'll speak Franco Morbidelli in a moment, but right now, let's chat to one of you guys at home's title favourites. Can he go one better this year? The 2023 MotoGP runner-up, Jorge Martin, is live with Liam.
Jorge Martin, the lights here in Bahrain look amazing. They make your bike look incredible. They always say when a bike looks fast, it is fast. We know the GP24 is incredibly fast. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think with these colors will be faster. Even if we were fast last season, I hope we did a great improvement. I think I hope you like the bike, but it seems super aggressive. Hopefully we can be same aggressive on the track.
Now, Jack was just saying back in Barcelona, you were one of the pre-season title favourites going into this year. Incredible year last year. What did you take away from last year that you can apply to this year to make you push even more for the title in 2024?
Well, at the end of the day, it's working a bit on the details. I think last season we were fast. We have to keep the same speed, that's for sure. But then, there are details in terms of mentality, in terms of physical side, in terms of setup also. I mean, we work in all the ambits, and I think it's important to be at the 100% in all of them to be able to fight for a title. And then let's hope to have this little luck, to get it.
Now, after the Qatar test, you said you were struggling a little bit with the rear chatter. Now, you've had a couple of weeks to look over the data, figure things out. Have you been able to figure out what might have been the cause of the chatter, and are you confident of rectifying that issue ahead of the season opener?
Yeah, I'm confident. It's not a thing that I can control. It's more on the team and on the engineers. So I guess they will solve it. I have to be focused on my riding style, on being fast, and I am. So I'm quite confident. I think there was some issue on the bike that won't happen on the race. I hope they change some parts and everything will be fine.
And prediction for this year, can you be champion?
For sure we can. I think we don't want to be obsessed with the final result. We have to be focused on the process, try to train, to be ready, to make race by race, and then let's see at the end if we can be able to win.
Jorge, thanks so much for talking to us, and all the best for this year.
Thank you.
Jack, back to you, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Liam. Great to get the thoughts of Jorge Martin ahead of what is no doubt going to be a massive 2024 for him. Interesting that already pinpointing that It's all about the details this year. We've seen over the past couple of years that arguably Pecco Bagnai's strong suit has been his consistency, the ability that on a Sunday in particular, he can just drive those results out from seemingly nowhere. Martin, at the end of last year, was a little bit up and down. It was a bit too roller coaster, and you feel that that's where the championship got away from him in the end, whether it be the crash in Indonesia, whether it be the tyre gamble in Australia. Of course, he had issues with tyres again on the Sunday in Qatar. If you can manage to eradicate them and have that consistency throughout the year, added to his explosive speed. I mean, Saturday was his day last year. Pole position, sprint victories. Nobody was able to get near to him. So if you can do that again, plus add a little bit of consistency on a Sunday where the big points are up for grabs, then you have to feel he may well be a tough man to beat. As ever, we want you guys to get in touch with us, and this time we're going to put your Jorge Martin knowledge to the test. So, what is Jorge Martin's dog called? I don't want you going onto Instagram or Twitter and checking. If you're a proper Jorge Martin fan, you should know this one. Is it A, snow, or B, koala? Let us know. We'll give you the answer in around a couple of minutes' time. A, snow, or B, koala, the name of Jorge Martin's dog, who you see, if you live in Andorra, him walking on a very regular basis, along with half the MotoGP grid that are up there in Andorra, preparing to head out to Qatar next weekend. And on Martin, we've already spoken about 2025. Of course, his good friend, the man that almost is taken under his wing, as has Aleix Espargaro as well, Fermin Aldeguer, as was mentioned earlier, reported today by a couple of Spanish media outlets that he has signed a deal with Ducati, with Gigi Dall'Igna, that we can see there in Bahrain. That was done in late January to promote him up to the Prima Pramac Racing squad in 2025. And you would imagine that means he's going to replace Jorge Martin. We didn't hear from him there, but he has spoken to various media outlets earlier this year, detailing and saying pretty outright that I'm going to be a factory rider next year, whether it be at Ducati, whether it be a potential opening at Aprilia. Who knows whether Aleix Espargaro may well have his final year in MotoGP. He, of course, comes into this year as the oldest rider on the grid, has hinted before that he may well look at retiring at the end of the year. Might be an opportunity to go to Honda or Yamaha, potentially KTM as well, who does have a history with in both Moto3 and in particular Moto2, who Ducati poached him away from. So it's going to be interesting to see where exactly the Spaniard arrives in 2025. But his focus, and I spoke to Gino Borsoi ahead of the Sepang test, and he said pretty firmly that he cannot be focusing on where he ends up in 25. That will fall into place if he's successful in 2024. As we see Gigi Dall'Igna there on the right of shot with Fonzi Nieto, and in the middle, Carlos Sainz Sr., the 2024 Dakar winner, of course, father of Carlos Sainz Jr., who'll be kicking off his Formula One season later on this weekend. Carlos, well, both Carloses, of course, big fans of MotoGP. I know that Carlos Sainz Jr. has attended before and has, I think, if memory serves right, during the Qatar World Cup in 2022, both him and Marc Marquez went round to each other's houses to watch one of the Spanish football games. That gentleman on the right there with Jorge Martin, I believe, my football knowledge to the test here, is it Nacho Gonzalez, something like that? Used to play for Marseille anyway. I know there'll be some football fans at home screaming at me, but now plays in Qatar with Cristiano Ronaldo, or did anyway. I'm testing my football knowledge here, but it's certainly centre-back, Spanish, plays for Marseille, also played in Saudi alongside Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it's Nacho Gonzalez. Anyway, but let's not get too distracted here, but if you do know, put it in the comments, let us know, and try and save me from my pretty rare football knowledge. As we see Franco Morbidelli there in the background, hopefully we'll be hearing from him very soon indeed. At the moment, just chatting away to, is that Spanish TV? I think it might be, but we can continue the conversation on Franco Morbidelli and what a challenge it is. Mentioned a couple of times the fact that he has missed pre-season, no knowledge whatsoever pretty much of this bike, having stepped across from Yamaha, who of course were having their struggles, and as daft as it may sound, but jumping off of a bike that hasn't been as competitive as they would have liked. Suddenly onto the best bike on the grid. Comes with it a huge amount of expectation, but secondly, does take a time to adapt as well in terms of putting those measurements in your mind of where you can brake, where you can get on the gas. Finding the limits all over again is almost as challenging as stepping on, as Johan Zarco has done, from a Ducati onto a Honda, which may not be as competitive as what he has been used to. I mean, Zarco in the team presentation actually spoke at length about, at first, he felt as if the Honda was a bike more for a rider. There was more in his wrist, more able to sort of gel with his riding style. And then when you find that final limit, that's where things start to become a little bit more testing. But we do hope that Franco Morbidelli goes well. And a 50-50 split on the quiz as well. So you guys at home need to do some homework on Jorge Martin. And of course, the correct answer, Koala, his dog, that he looks after at home as well. Well, someone else looking after at the moment because he's in Bahrain for obvious reasons. But anyway, it's a lovely dog. But on Franco Morbidelli, yeah, going to be an interesting one. It'll be interesting to hear what he thinks he can achieve in Qatar. You have to feel that looking at the front of the race, we could see Pecco Bagnaia, Jorge Martin, and Enea Bastianini easily, all three inside the top 5 from what we've seen in pre-season testing. They might even lock out the top 3. That GP24 has been so impressive. So suddenly, Franco Morbidelli not being up there inside that top 5 with them, I think on the face of it, a lot of people might look at it and say that it's a disappointing result. But if Morbidelli can get inside the top 10 in Qatar, then that is a tremendous result, especially given with the new format as well. He's got, 45 minutes on Friday morning when, in particular in Qatar, the sun is still in the air and track conditions are nowhere near what he's going to have to put up with in the sprint and in the race. So that's almost useless. Then in the afternoon or the evening, he's got an hour, but he's got to concentrate on trying to get into the top 10. May well be that they think of it a little bit differently and don't focus on that top 10 and try and just use the hour to fully adapt him to the motorcycle. Be interesting to see if that is the kind of tactics that they use rather than the usual ones that we see the riders go for. And then, of course, on Saturday and Sunday, there's no time to get adapted. Again, it's out there and racing, whether it's qualifying, whether it's the sprint, whether it's the Grand Prix. You do feel that they may have to look at the weekend slightly differently, given the back foot that they're coming into the weekend on. Shanghai has been getting in touch. I hope Franco can find his talent with this beast. Best of luck to the team. Trophy, yellow smiling, hands, yellow heart, red heart. I think those are some emojis trying to piece together. I'm so excited about the colours of Pramac and about Frankie as well. This one coming from Christina. Is that Chris and Tina? Is it Christina or is it Chris Tina? Couple of options there. But anyway, whoever it is, great for you to get in touch. Luke Miller, if Martin moves up, I think that Bestia deserves a factory ride too. Perhaps Aprilia. Yeah, that is another rumour out there at the moment, Luke, that Massimo Rivola, of course, Aprilia Racing CEO, has gone on the record and said that he's a big fan of Enea Bastianini and what he's able to do. His manager, of course, has pretty strong links to the Aprilia Racing squad. Carlo Panat was the boss of Aprilia Racing going back into the late 80s and throughout the 90s as well. So there's a little bit of a link there that could potentially blossom, but plenty of time for all of the 2025 rider market news to filter out throughout the year. Super Ryan, this is going to be a good MotoGP season. It certainly is, Super Ryan. You've certainly understated it there. I agree with you, though. It is going to be a good one. Ahmad has been in touch. Livery could be awesome during daylight races. Yeah, it's going to look good in the sunshine. It's going to look good under the lights. I've already told you, I'm a fan. The purple and black, it's aggressive. It's dark. It's a bit Batman-y, and I'm a fan. I like it. It's looking good. So I'm with you on that one, Ahmad. Anybody else has been getting in touch? Let's see, of course. You can on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, however it may be. Make sure you fire your comments into the chat. If you've got any questions as well, we can fire them across to Giacomo Agostini, the 15-time world champion that will be joining us later on as well. But I think, is that right? Yes. Here we go. Looking forward to hearing the thoughts of this man. It's been a difficult pre-season, but glad to see a smile on his face at last. Franco Morbidelli is down there with Liam.
Frankie, it's absolutely brilliant for us to join us. It has been a little bit of a difficult start to 2024. You've just literally ridden the bike for the first time this season. You can't really tell too much from it. However, how are you feeling?
It felt wonderful. It felt great. The bike looks amazing, and the place is great. It's a racing environment, but a little bit different compared to our one. And it's just nice to have the bike presentation in such a way, especially for me that I didn't ride the bike at all this winter, and I definitely wanted to. So to jump on it and just make some meters on it, and have the feeling and get the sensations from the bike, it's just great, and I take it, and I have good emotions through my body right now.
It's absolutely wonderful to see the smile on your face, Frankie. And this year is such a big year. Everyone expects so much from you. However, you have had that little setback. How long do you think it will be before you can get back up to 100% on the bike? And how long do you think it could be before you could be back up the front?
Well, we're gonna have to see first of all, for sure, the first race. It's gonna be result-wise. We are not gonna pay too much attention on that matter because we missed completely the tests, and other guys, the totality of the field has done the test on that track. So the competition is gonna be difficult. And also I need to get used to the new bike and get the feeling and learn to ride it in the best way. But I'm planning on doing very good things on this bike because it is possible, and the feeling that it gives already to the rider from what I remember in Valencia, and from what we have all been watching, it's incredible. So let's see if I will be able to pull out the maximum potential from the package.
We're looking forward to seeing what you could do this year. But having missed so much, how is the team helping you learn about the bike itself? You've been looking at Jorge's data from, I'm guessing, last year, but also at the test in Qatar when you were there, just viewing. How are the team coming around to help you improve as quickly as possible?
The team has been very supportive with me, especially after what happened. Now it's more or less 1 month ago, and Gino, we've been speaking with Gino, and Massimo also. My crew chief has been working very hard and working with me to help me to understand the package and pull out the best things from it in the shortest time as possible. So we've been talking a lot about it, and I think we are ready to face this challenge. We're gonna do it with the right energy and with the right mindset, and let's see what happens.
Frankie, all the best to you this season, and we look forward to seeing you back on track.
Thank you.
Great to hear from Franco Morbidelli, and like we said, nice to see that smile back on his face as well. Big thumb up for the camera, and a man that is raring and ready to go, no doubt, to finally get his first laps on a MotoGP machine in 2024. Next quiz question coming your way. What does Franco Morbidelli like to collect? 50-50 on the last one. This is your opportunity to redeem yourselves. Does Franco Morbidelli collect Pokemon cards or movie posters? Again, in the chat, let us know. A or B. We'll tell you the answer in a couple of minutes' time. I've done my research. I was listening to Franco. Don't worry. It is Alvaro Gonzalez, the footballer. So there we go. Apology If there's any Nacho Gonzalez out there that plays football, good luck in hopefully finding a contract at Marseille in the future. But Alvaro, congratulations on your esteemed career, and great to see you once again present supporting Jorge Martin. I know that you're close friends with him. So there we go. Alvaro Gonzalez. Good to clear that up and make sure that we're being factual. That's what we like to be on these live streams. We're informative, we're factual, and we're making sure that we're addressing any errors that we might have made. So there we go. So, plenty opportunity for us to talk on Friday. Again, if you missed earlier, we'll be with you from 2 o'clock Central European time for our big preview. We'll be dissecting, we'll be going in-depth, analysing all 22 riders on the grid. What can they achieve this year? How did it go for them in pre-season? What are the expectations? And are those expectations that they're setting potentially a little bit too high? Matt Burt will be with us. Jorge Lorenzo, the 5-time world champion, will be here as well. And I'm looking forward to getting both of their thoughts. Of course, Jorge Lorenzo, 5-time world champion. And, you know, since he's stepped away from MotoGP full-time, not afraid to say what he thinks. And Matt Burt, there's no man that knows more about the sport than him as well. So extremely excited to have a good chit-chat. It'll be pretty podcast-like, I think, being able to chat through what the guys on the grid are able to do in 2022, who their favourites are, who the dark horses for the new season are, and potentially those that may well be in a little bit of trouble this year and those that might be struggling throughout 2024. This is the perfect time for us to talk predictions and pre-season and season previews. So really looking forward to that one. Set a note in your diary, 2 o'clock Central European time on Friday. But don't worry if you can't make it. If you're in work on Friday afternoon, as I know that a lot of you may well be, it will be available on YouTube, on MotoGP.com, across our social media channels for you to rewatch whenever you want on Saturday or Sunday, or even Friday night as well. Why don't you make an event of it? Invite your friends round. Get ready for the new season and watch our big preview with Jorge Lorenzo and Matt Burt as we see some of the footage of this brand new Prima Pramac Racing bike. Going to let you in on a bit of another secret. I'm divulging too many secrets here, but this was actually filmed in Qatar. Not last weekend, but the weekend before, as part of that secret filming that I was telling you about. You will see next week the brand new MotoGP intro. We filmed one for the first time last year, and we filmed another one for this year, and it may well involve that very same set. Not giving too much away, because my big boss is next door, so he may well come in and tell me off in a second. But there we go, something to look forward to. I've seen the behind the scenes. I've not seen the full video yet, but certainly from the footage that we gathered and the filming that we did there, some really, really cool things coming on your TV screens, whether it be the new graphics, whether it be that new live intro, of course, with the new MotoGP theme tune that was introduced for the first time this year, and lots of very cool and funny social media bits coming out as well. We've already seen the Under the Skin series starting across social media, where you can see the war wounds, the tattoos of the guys as we see beneath the leather suit and behind the armoury. We're also seeing messages to your 8-year-old self and 80-year-old self as well. There were some really, really nice stories from all of the MotoGP grid. So lots of little things like that that are worth keeping an eye out on our social media channels as we build up to the opening round of the season. Glad to report, finally, we've got it right. 55% of you correctly guessing that it is Pokemon cards that Franco Morbidelli collects. I'm going to hold my hands up. Didn't know that one myself, but we'll be interested to go and chat to him in Qatar and work out whether he is he a Pikachu man? Is he a Squirtle man? Is he a Charizard man? Going to be interesting to see. I think, if I had to guess, I'd probably say that Franco Morbidelli is probably a Squirtle kind of guy, but I mean, we'll find out in Qatar. Those are the hard-hitting questions that I've been doing throughout pre-season to make sure that I'm ready for the opening round of the year, and make sure you do join us on Inside the Paddock, because that is the kind of stuff that I like to get out there, and I like to find the answers to the important questions. And if we see Frankie, I'm going to jot that down to work out what kind of a Pokemon man Franco Morbidelli is. So, I don't know. The guys in the back might be able to tell me. Are we going to get the chance to hear from the likes of Gino Borsoi or Fonzie Nieto? No, it looks as though those interviews are going to be going up on the MotoGP website once we're finished here. That's because we have a legend in the building. Very, very proud and pleased to welcome to the show 15-time world champion Giacomo Agostini. Giacomo, ciao. How are you? Great to see you. Excited for the new season?
Grazie, buongiorno a tutti. Good afternoon.
How are you, my friend? Yeah, listen to you loud and clear. The new season gets underway in a week's time. How excited are you for it to kick off?
I think we have a fantastic season because we have a lot of riders can win the Grand Prix. So, and we start for the world champion Bagnaia, Bastianini. We have Marquez, and he come back with for him is a new bike. So for him is I think it's not easy, but I think he try to win. Of course, he don't have the 24 Ducati, but only the 23. So, but also Marini and also Martin. I think he's ready. He have a good bike because he have the bike same the factory bike, and I think also he's. I think we have a lot of riders can win. So it's difficult today to say who. But of course, the man to beat is the world champion, Bagnaia. So we're waiting. I think we expect a very, very, very exciting season.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. Of course, we've just had the Prima Pramac Racing launch, so let's talk Jorge Martin. So close last year. What do you think he will have learnt from 2023 to be able to help him go one step further in 24?
Still is young, and every year is like when you go to school. Every year you learn something, and I think before I see him for last year and 2 years ago. He always a little nervous. He's a Spanish guy, the blood is very very hard. But now, of course, he's 1 year more experience, like Bagnaia. Bagnaia every year is coming better. I think Bagnaia now he know everything. He have a lot of experience. He know the bikes. He know what they have to do. He know when he leading the world champion is very difficult because the emotion, it's many things change because you have a lot of responsibility because. When you're very close to win, inside of you think, okay, I must win. So this is very, very difficult because make the rider very, very nervous and it's difficult to control. But the experience just help you. So I think also for Martin this year is of course 1 year more the experience. So I think it's also but it's important also because. I think we have a very, very important world champion. I hope also Marquez can try. Of course, he have a bike, 23 bikes and not the 24, but his experience and his talent, I think he have a chance to battle with everybody.
You've mentioned a few names there, Giacomo. We've had lots of comments from fans watching at home, in particular, one from Rizal, who wants to know who your prediction to be world champion in 2024 is. Can you pick one name for us?
It's difficult because I forget before also Bastianini. Bastianini have a factory bikes. He's a factory rider. So also when everything go well, he's very, very aggressive, very fast. Of course, the world champion is Bagnaia, so everybody must beat Bagnaia, and Bagnaia in the start is the potential winner, but during the season depend also to win today. We must use also the head, and this is very important. And Bagnaia is very calculate. He prepared the bikes very well. He have a lot of experience. He's very calm, and he think about when he have a practice. He think about the practice, and just the practice and need to prepare the bikes. And I see him. He worked very hard to prepare the bike at 100% for the race. This is very important if you want to win the race.
You've mentioned Marc Marquez. We can't speak about the World Championship and potential candidates to be world champion and not speak about him. Of course, the huge move to Ducati throughout pre-season. It looks as though it's taken him some time to adapt fully and get 100% comfortable with his new bike. At what point do you think we'll start to see Marc challenging for victories again?
Okay, I see the practice. The last practice he's just I think he tried to learn the bike and to understand and not make a mistake just before start the season, and it's more prudential, but his talent is very, very, very high. So I think maybe he can win some race. I don't know for the world champion, because the world champion is very, it's more than 20 race, 20 race. So it's a long season, but also depend the difference from the bike. Here, the bike from last year and the bike for the Ducati from last year and this year. And also, I'm very, very, very disappointed about Yamaha and Honda. Is a big company. It's a lot of big company, and he don't have for the moment. He don't have the bike to compete with Ducati. Ducati is, I think, the engineer and Dall'Igna and all his group. He worked very, very hard, and we see also in the practice, the testing we have before, it's all Ducati, all Ducati. So I hope also the other like KTM, like Aprilia, and also Honda and Yamaha, I hope it coming very close, because the battle is from the rider, but also the people like to see the battle also for the factory. Ducati, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, Aprilia, KTM, and I hope also, of course, at the end is only one win. This is the problem. Not the problem, but the best bike and the best rider win. So at the moment, I think Bagnaia have a little advantage from everybody.
You think that Bagnaia will win the World Championship? Another question from the fans at home, Giacomo, wanting to know if this season is the best chance yet for somebody on a satellite bike, somebody not with one of the factory teams, to go and win the World Championship. We saw Jorge Martin get so close last year with the level of competition as it is in MotoGP now. Is this the best chance yet for somebody on a satellite bike to win the World Championship?
I think Martin is ready to win. What I said before, he have a lot of experience, he have a good bike, he have the bike same Bagnaia and same Bastianini, and this is the rider can, from the start of the season, sure is the rider can have a possibility to win. And what we said before depend of Marquez, because I know Marquez is when he's everything perfect and everything, and his also physical condition is perfect. He's a very, very hard rider. So this is why I think the spectator aspect, because it's the show, the motorcycle or whatever is the show. So the people like to see the show, and I hope with these riders we have a very, very good show.
Last couple of questions, Giacomo, before we let you go. Thank you for your time again. One of the big storylines coming into the year is the arrival of Pedro Acosta. At 19 years of age, he's already won 2 World Championships. He's got 10 rounds to try and break Marc Marquez's record and become the youngest ever Premier Class race winner. Just how excited are you to see him fighting the very best this year in MotoGP?
Yeah, he's very, very good. He's very good. He's young. He have a lot of time to learn. Of course, from the Moto2 to MotoGP is the double horsepower. So he must riding with the bike with about 300 horsepower. So it's not easy. And then the testing he go very, very, very fast. But I think it's important, don't push him too much, just leave. Just it's like when you go to school, you must say the first, the second, the third, and so I think this year, sure he can do the good race, but not pretend to win the world champion in the first year. So because it's important, he's too young, so he need the experience, he need to learn everything, and I think this year is necessary for him to learn the bike, to learn everything, and maybe for 25, I think he's ready to win.
And just finally, we had you in Le Mans last year for the 1000th Grand Prix. This another special year coming up for the series, the 75th anniversary of Grand Prix motorcycle racing. To celebrate it, I want to know, can we do a deal, Giacomo? I personally would love to see you and one of your MV Augustas on track this year at some point. Full throttle, hearing it on the rev limiter. Can we make that happen? Can we see you and one of the classic bikes out there this year at some point?
Yeah, we must ask Dorna if he organized this one. My bike is ready. My bike is here at my garage. So it's just 1 minute to start the bike and to listen the music of my MV Agusta. So I think it's a good idea, and why not? I hope. And I am very happy to participate at this event.
Thank you, Giacomo. Let's try and make it happen. I've got some contacts here. I hope that we can make that happen.
You try to organize. You try. You push.
No
everything.
problem. Me and you together, we'll form an alliance.
Carmelo. We must talk with Carmelo. He organized everything.
I'll pick up the phone. Once we're done, I'll get on the phone and we'll make it happen. There we go. That might be him now. Is that Carmelo calling?
Okay.
Thank you, Giacomo. Appreciate your time as ever. Looking forward to seeing you throughout the year.
Okay. Ciao, everybody. Ciao.
There we go. Giacomo Agostini, 15-time world champion.
Yes,
a delight to be able to chat away with him. And he's got a phone call there from Carmelo Espeleta trying to organise him to get out on track on one of those classic MV Augustas. I mean, I'm not alone there, surely, guys. You guys want to be able to see one of those MV Augustas out on track. And I'm sure that this man does as well. Back live to Bahrain. He's a big fan of the sport. A very successful man in terms of team management. He's won lightweight class world championships. He's helped compete for intermediate class world championships as well. Can he be a Premier class championship winning team manager in 2024? Liam, over to you with Gino Borsoi.
Oh, Jack, that's a fantastic question. Gino, you've had so much success in the past in junior categories. You came up to Prima Pramac Ducati last year, and in your first year almost won the World Championship. Can you go that one step higher this year?
Oh, it's the last step. Actually, we need to find a way. For sure, we will not easy even this season. We know we have a great team. Both riders are ready. Unfortunately, Franco wasn't able to start the test, the winter test, but I'm pretty sure he will be, let's say, maybe not ready for the podium from the beginning, but by the way, he will find a way to get the best, let's say, feeling with the bike. We will help him for sure to find the feeling as soon as possible. And regarding Jorge, I'm quite happy. Honestly, we did an incredible 2 tests, Sepang and then Qatar. I think we are ready. Bike is better compared to last season. Jorge is happy about the feeling, so why not? We will try again.
Now, speaking of Jorge, he came so close last year. How has he evolved as a rider from the person that you met at the start of last year to the one that you know now?
Well, you know now how you have to handle the situation. He have a bit more experience, and as I said before, now he know better the bike, because this bike I think is better also for his riding style. So now we need to learn from our mistake of last season, where we know where we miss the championship, and from that point they start to build up our speed race by race. Don't make any mistake. Championship is so long, we saw last year, and well, apart of that, I think if you find a way, we are again one of the goodest, let's say, team with a good rider.
Now, Pramac has such a family atmosphere, as we saw at the final race in Valencia, when you're all huddled around Jorge, geeing him up for the final race of the year. Frankie now comes into a team where that warm arm could be around him. How are you working with him to build him up for the season opener after missing so much? And how how long are you expecting for him to get back up to speed?
Well, as you said, we are like a family, We are a factory team, but with a family atmosphere. This is one of the key of our team, I'm pretty sure, because when you are able to create a family atmosphere, even the rider can give the 100% all the time. And apart, what happened to Morbidelli at the beginning of the season, I think he is already in the mindset to be part of our garage. He know who we are. I know who he is, him, and just to try to help him at the beginning, because this is the most important part of the season. And that's it. I mean, step by step, we will see where he is. Step by step, he will learn from us what we need from the setup, and let's wait. I think at least 5 races, and then we will see where we are with Morbidelli.
Now, there's been a big story that's come out today from motorsport.com about Fermin Aldeguer. We're seeing the launch of the 2024 team, but we're already starting to talk about next year already. What can you comment about this news coming through from Aldeguer potential joining your team for 2025?
Well, honestly, I just won't comment 2024. This is my target, and I want to talk about my rider. At the moment, they are our rider, so we are focused on the races. We are focused to try to bring home again the title of the team. We know it's not easy, but we have another chance. That's it. About the future, we will talk again, but later on.
Gino, thank you so much for your time, and all the best to you and your riders in 2024.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Great effort, Liam. I do commend the effort, and the wry smile across Gino's face probably tells you more than the answer itself. In terms of the answer to that final question about Fermin Aldeguer moving to Prima Pramac Racing for 2025, he didn't say no, did he? So let's leave it at that. I imagine, given the fact there's a few people saying it now, that may well be something that we hear more of over the coming weeks. Potentially next weekend in Qatar, when the world's media will be assembled, and no doubt we'll be firing some questions to all of the key personnel at Ducati. With the season kicking off in a week's time, now the perfect opportunity to make sure that when you're attending a Grand Prix this year, you're looking good doing it as well. MotoGP.store.com, the place to go to get your Jorge Martin merch, your Franco Morbidelli merch, if you are a Prima Pramac Racing fan. But if you're supporting other riders, other teams this year, then don't worry. There's a full selection for you to make sure that you are fully kitted out and ready for the season start, and that you're strolling into the paddock looking as good as possible. I have to say as well, always, as someone that gets the opportunity to see some different team merch here and there, I am a big fan of seeing some slightly obscure and different team merch as well. You know, everybody can support the world champion, but let's see some slightly different team merch out there this year, whether it be, I don't know, Moto3 riders, Moto2 riders. Pick a young gun, support them as they go throughout the championship. Always a fun way to follow the sport. Right, from one of the key men at Prima Pramac Racing to the key man at Prima Pramac Racing, the team principal, the big boss, the lovable Paolo Campanotti is there with Liam. Well, looks like a few audio issues. Yeah, just looks as though we can't hear exactly what Paolo Campanotti is saying at the moment. So we'll get that sorted and get back to Bahrain very soon indeed. Apologies to both Liam and Paolo, and for you guys at home for that small issue. Very odd. I mean, live TV, how on earth can we go to Bahrain a minute ago and it works and then suddenly it doesn't? But that is the joy of technology. We'll get it sorted in no time at all. And once we've heard from Paolo Campanotti, again, another exclusive for you. Went up on MotoGP's YouTube channel earlier today and on MotoGP.com. If you haven't had the opportunity to watch it yet, I've seen it and it is absolutely fantastic. At the final round of the year, we got exclusive access to the team radio for Prima Pramac Racing. We were able to listen to everything that those boys were saying throughout the weekend, including that fascinating, that tense practice session on Friday afternoon where Jorge Martin and the squad decided to put their claws into Pecco Bagnaia. They had a plan, they had a plot, and they executed it as well. And once we've heard from Paolo Campanotti, we'll show you that behind the scenes, that insider access, which is pretty unrivaled. The first time, apart from last year when we had the opportunity to go into the Aprilia Racing box, but I mean, this is when a world championship was on the line, so tensions were high. You can hear that in the voices as well. If you want to experience firsthand what it's like to be working in a MotoGP team in a high-pressure environment like that, then don't go anywhere, because we'll be showing you the video in a few moments' time once we've got the thoughts of Paolo Campanotti. As I said, I've seen it already, and it is fantastic, so don't go anywhere. Make sure you tune into that. That'll be our last thing before we say goodbye and get fully prepped for our big preview on Friday at 2 o'clock Central European time, and fingers crossed. We saw it at the season finale as well. I'm sure that you might be able to have picked up throughout our TV coverage, our broadcast coverage. There was a few radio message coming through from the teams when they're speaking amongst each other. Of course, MotoGP sets itself apart that it is the rider and the rider only out there on the bikes, and they have to do only thinking. The only communication that the teams have is through the pit boards every time that they come across, but always great to hear what the teams are saying amongst themselves, especially during those practice and qualifying sessions when tactics are absolutely paramount. So, as I said, that's coming your way very soon indeed, and definitely worth tuning in for. And hopefully there's more of that coming your way throughout the course of 2024. We, as ever, are trying to push the boundaries and bring you as close to the action as possible. Paolo Campanotti, I'm sure Liam is getting a feeling brave, and may well pose the question about Fermin Aldeguer to him. I'm waiting to get to Qatar to ask Gigi Dall'Igna, who apparently is the man that has signed Aldeguer onto the dotted line. In terms of the Moto2 test that's happening in Jerez at the moment, we're hoping to speak to Aldeguer as well, and maybe he'll be able to tell us something. But of course, aside from that, aside from all of the antics with regards to the 2025 rider market, the big focus for 2024 is for these guys to try and win the World Championship. But second time lucky, hopefully. Liam, down there with Paolo.
Here in Bahrain, the Bahrain International Circuit, how brilliant is it to be here and to launch your team alongside Formula One? How did the thing come about?
This year we had the Qatar test in between the Formula One race, so we take the opportunity that the bike was already in Qatar to have this event here, and being the 20th year of Formula One in Bahrain, and it's a great combination. And we have been always close to Formula One with Stefano Domenicali, is a very close friend, so we have decided to make this opportunity come true.
Very easy to get deals done when you have friends in high places, as they say. Now, do you think this going forward, the launch event of Prima Pramac here in Bahrain, will be an even closer collaboration, not just with yourself, but also with MotoGP and Formula One?
I wish, because I mean, this is motorsport, so it's motorcycle, the other side of the coin of F1. So if more collaboration happen, the better.
Indeed it will be. Now, one last question, Paolo, before we let you jet off. Can you become Teams and Riders World Champion in 2024?
Yes, I think we must, not we can, we must. That is our aim, and we will do everything for getting it. Thanks.
Paolo, been wonderful to talk to you. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah, thank you very much to Liam and Paolo Campanotti. Great to get their thoughts ahead of the new season. And it looks as though it's going to be a fascinating one for Prima Pramac Racing. They need to go one better. That is going to be the target. We've heard from Jorge Martin. We've heard from Gino Borsoi, from Paolo Campanotti, all saying the same thing, that lessons have been learned from last year. They're going to be a much meaner and much tougher outfit this season with the target of trying to claim that World Championship. And if you watched There Can Be Only One, which is available on YouTube for you to stream, all 5 episodes free of charge. And if you haven't already, then definitely well worth a watch. That final episode in particular, when you see the emotion just drain out of Martin and Campanotti in particular, they embraced in the garage after he crashed on Sunday in Valencia. Quite a touching moment. You could just see how invested, understandably, they all were in trying to claim that first World Championship. Campanotti been a part of the MotoGP paddock for over 2 decades now, and we'll be hoping to try finally realise that ultimate goal of winning the World Championship. Well, Liam Hodgins has had quite the couple of days in Bahrain. I hope, Liam, that you've been sensible, you've been out there, you've spoken to as many people as possible, and you've blagged yourself some paddock passes for the weekend.
Oh, mate, it's been absolutely brilliant out here in Bahrain. First ever time in this part of the world, and I must admit, it's been so hospitable. Like, everyone has been brilliant out here, so welcoming to, I can imagine, well, the Formula One people, but also us here in MotoGP and Pramac as well. It's been absolutely fantastic. And I must admit, if you've never been to a Formula One event, you must come to it and also come to Bahrain. But not just that, if you've got it on your bucket list, also go to MotoGP, because it is just one of the best racing and most exciting things you'll ever see. As you can probably tell right now, Jack, I'm actually really excited to be here. You know that I'm a big motorsport fan of all motorsports, but number one is obviously MotoGP. But yeah, in terms of the paddock passes, yeah, they weren't really having any of it. They turned me down right away. So unfortunately, I'm back out early morning tomorrow, back to Barcelona to see you wonderful people back in the Dorna offices.
You don't have to be kind, Liam. Come on, guys. Who's booking Liam's flights? Let's at least allow him to watch the race this weekend. Liam, thank you very much. You've still got 12 hours before that flight, so go out there, put the microphone down, and try and blag yourself some passes.
I'll try my very best, Jack. I mean, there's some people walking around with a few passes. They look like they've got a few too many, so I might try and see if I can blag 1 or 2 from the people walking past us in a few moments' time. But anyway, Jack, hopefully I get to see you back in Barcelona in the next couple of days, or who knows, I could still be out here.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you. Thank you anyway, Liam. Great to be able to chat with you, and good luck. Put that Scottish charm to good use. I do hope that he can delay his flight for one reason or another and be there to watch the opening round of Formula One this year. I mean, he's there now. Might as well try his best to get a spot in the grandstand or something. There look like some pretty important people on the grid. We had the chief executive of the circuit, so just go up, shake your hand, offer him a can of Iron Brew, and you never know. He may well give you a paddock pass for the weekend. Right, before we leave you with that very special video, that insider access, a few more of you guys at home have been getting in touch. Marna saying there is going to be a good fight for the World Championship between Bagnaia, Marquez and Martin. I mean, those are the 3 that everybody is speaking about at the moment. I think you've got to throw in Bastianini. The Beast looks to be back to his best as well. The KTMs as well. Brad Binder, who was 4th last year. Can he take that next step? Alicia Spargo was strong. I mean, we can go on. That's for Friday. We'll speak about the runners and riders in our big preview on Friday. That's Marnus that's been getting in touch. Who else has been firing some comments in? This one from Tanish. Damn, this season's bars are raised very high. Eagerly awaiting for Indian and Qatar GPs to hit in. Love from India. Thank you very much for your comment, Tanish. Yeah, looking forward to getting back to the Bud International Circuit again. And, of course, Losail in a week's time. Excited for that one. Hopefully you'll be there. Victor, also getting in touch. For those who are new into MotoGP, this is the perfect time. I agree, Victor. Thank you. You're doing my job wonderfully. A perfect time and year to start watching this wonderful sport. It is one of the best grids since 2015. Looking forward to next week. Can we get this guy a job? Thank you, Victor. Selling MotoGP magnificently. Raymond saying, Liam looks adorable. What a way to finish off the chat comments. I couldn't agree more myself. He's a bonny wee lad, is Liam. He is a bonny wee lad, and he's looking good under the lights in Bahrain as well. Right, before we leave you then, I've given it the big sell. Definitely worth tuning in for. This is pretty special. You will not get any closer to the action than this. This is insider access. We'll go straight into the Prima Pramac Racing box to feel the tension of that championship decider in Valencia.
Facciamolo più veloce che Pecco è al box. Comunque Fonsi, tu sta al muretto e guarda, se da Pecco cambiano le gomme sulla moto, se si preparano per il time attack. Ora Fonsi, noi siamo pronti, il via lo dai te, quando esce Pecco usciamo anche noi, il via lo dai te, noi siamo pronti. Aspettate a Fonsi.
Ok, stanno cambiando anche la ruota davanti. Le hanno appena portato il cerco bianco davanti.
Sì, ma parla un po' più forte, Fonsi.
Le hanno appena portato il cerco bianco davanti. Stanno mettendo i dischi.
Piantati, ci mettono un'ora a montare una gomma davanti. Calma, calma, dobbiamo seguire a Pecco, calma, calma. Fonsi, come ha fatto? Ha finito?
No, ha ragione Mana, sono passati, piantati.
Ok, pronti che aspettiamo Pecco, Cosa Fonsi? No, è lui, ragazzino, flash brutto di mister.
Ok, ragazzi un attimo perché forse ci sono pezzi della moto nella curva e forse dovrà anche pulirla, perché io vedo tanto carbonio.
Sì, considera che c'è un giro di outlap prima che arrivino al punto lì.
Hanno appena finito la ruota davanti e stiamo attenti.
È da mezz'ora che ha visto la telecamera lì Fonsi, quindi...
Sì, ma con quello poco possiamo fare. Stanno togliendo la termo davanti.
Andate piano che sono piantati, quelli loro sono fermi, sono incestati. Ancora c'è manco la moto del fuori. Vai, metti in moto Barti, metti in moto. Vai! Cazzo, red flag! Andatelo a prendere, pilota, corri!
Lo fermano, ora lo fermano, tranquilli.
È stato il momento, pronti le termo, cazzo!
Detto che la fermavano perché c'era sporco di carbonio in pista. Avevo detto.
Che è dato? Termo boys, accese.
Battano da col cavo, niente.
Tu attaccalo che magari qualcosa facciamo.
Mettiamo subito le termo, soprattutto davanti.
Va dentro. Ehi! Ce l'ho.
Vai di termo. Vai le termo, cazzo, le termo. Alza la centralina, alza.
Alle 53 riaprono, Sono 52-40 secondi.
Fonsi, guarda sempre da Pecco, dobbiamo uscire con lui. Cercate la radio libera, Fonsi, fai te. Bandiera è verde, giusto? È verde, decidete voi, decidete. Fonsi, fai te.
L'aviatore è fuori pronto.
Vai, oh, via!
ragazzo è uscito un po' davanti, si è messo qualcuno in mezzo.
Ho capito, ma se non ci avvisa... ma Fonsi, quando hai parlato in radio non si è sentito. L2, però è a distrazione del pilota, ragazzi. Quando rientra termo davanti, cioè termo davanti, appoggiamo la cover, non la termo, perché è impossibile la termo, se no non esci più.
Tu stai con la lavagna chiusa, Spada, devi stare con la lavagna chiusa, perché Pecco non si è accorto, finché non lo segnalo non si è accorto. Sta chiuso, sta fermo. Adesso quando passa fatti vedere bene, ok? Così si innervosisci.
Sì, adesso aprire la lavagna.
Digli a Peppe di aprire anche la sua, dai.
Fatti vedere bene, fatti vedere bene.
Guarda, digli a Peppe che apre anche la sua, diglielo. Box, ragazzi. Dai Spada, dai! Oh ragazzi, pronti a uscire con Pecco. La gomma fuori al volo. Gomma benzina c'è, solo gomma dietro. Cover davanti, volante. Cover davanti.
Siamo tranquilli che già lo vede lui lì davanti.
Non gliela mettere, occhio che ripartono, non fa metterla, occhio, fa finta che gliela metti, cazzo. Non l'accende, Nico, non l'accende quel cazzo di cavo. Appoggia la termo, Spadino. È dentro, ancora dentro lui.
E lui c'ha il termo davanti.
Ragazzi, non fatelo partire finché non ho tolto la cover, che non mi sia gane. Metti la termo, dai. Tanto un attimo, gliela appoggi, dai.
Bravo ragazzi, bravo.
Che segni gli stava facendo Pecco?
Come ha fatto l'altra volta con cosa? Morbidelli con Market.
Comunque, soprattutto ragazzi, stiamo calmi con tutto quello che succede, non facciamo cose con le mani e niente, siamo eleganti.
Comunque tutti avete visto cosa ha fatto Tardotti, sì? L'avete visto tutti, eh?
Per quello, noi siamo più eleganti.
Si è messo davanti alla moto del pilota, si è messo, nostro.
No, ma che gli ha inchiodato Pecco uscito da... gli ha inchiodato davanti. Non facciamo gesti.
Bravo ragazzi, ottimo lavoro. Ottimo lavoro.
Bravo Fonsi. Questo è un altro record perché non abbiamo mai fatto una Q1 quest'anno.
Bravi ragazzi, complimenti, grandi, bel lavoro, bel lavoro.
Scusate se ho fatto casino con la terra. No, tutto a posto, ragazzi, è difficile gestire questa situazione così. Oh, cazzo, è un casino. Oh, ma ci arriva mezzo secondo su Pecco.
So there we go then, a full insider view of what it's like to be in that high pressure environment fighting for a world championship. Brilliant to see, another brilliant video from our content team here at MotoGP, and hopefully more of that to come throughout 2024. All right, that's it. 11 team presentations done and dusted. We've ticked them all off. We're officially ready to go racing in 2024. Won't be our last show though. As I told you, we're back on Friday. The big 2024 preview with Matt Burt and Jorge Lorenzo, 2 o'clock Central European time on Friday. Do not miss it. And then a week tomorrow, everything kicks off in Qatar. 3 o'clock local time for the Gear Up show with myself and Simon. And then on Friday, the lights will be turned on. It's time to go racing in 2024. Moto3 kickers off at 2 o'clock local time. Do not miss it. Thank you for joining us for the 11 team presentations. Please do join us on Friday for the big preview as we get ready for round 1 in Qatar in just over a week's time. We'll see you on Friday.